Welcome to our lecture about land ecosystem. So what is land ecosystem? According to Amruta, an ecosystem is a geographical area in which plants, animals, and other species as well as weather and topography interact to generate a living bubble. So, a terrestrial ecosystem, or also known as land ecosystem, is a land-based community of species that includes biotic and abiotic interactions in a specific area. So how important is land ecosystem to us? The land sustains every aspect of our lives. The land sustains every aspect of our lives, providing fundamental life support systems and the foundation of our economy and society. It is the place we stand. Second one is the importance of land to humans. Humans have always used land for survival, for food, water, raw materials, dwellings, and shelter. And the last one, land and identity. Land is important for other aspects of being human. It provides a connection to place and history, a space to play and learn, define culture, express spirituality, and anchor memory and identity. In short, ang land ecosystem ay ang lugar kung saan tayo nabubuhay at gumagalaw dahil kung wala ito, maaring tayo ay hindi mag-exist.
So let's first come up with the very raw materials such as abiotic factors of land ecosystem include non-living such as soil, air, water, sunlight, and climate.
There are three factors in the abiotic components. Una ay yung sunlight. Sunlight is the main source of energy for all life on Earth. Para itong fuel or battery para gumana ang lahat. Plants use sunlight para makagawa ng food through a process called photosynthesis. At mga animals naman ay dumidepende dito para rin sa kanilang energy kagaya nating mga human. Without sunlight, life wouldn't exist. Second is temperature. Temperature ay parang mga babae lang, pabago-bago. Tayong mga lalaki naman ay yung mga organisms and species. At di lahat ng lalaki makakasurvive sa malditang babae at di naman lahat ng lalaki ay ayaw sa malditang babae. In short, some like it hot while others thrive in cooler conditions. The temperature of an ecosystem affects which plants and animals can live there. Ang last ay yung water, tubig. Water is the lifeblood of ecosystems. Gaya ng pangangailangan natin sa tubig, ganun din ang pangangailangan ng mga plants and animals dito. It provides a habitat for aquatic life and is essential for plant growth. Water availability and quality can determine which species can survive in a particular place.
So these factors influence the types of organisms that can survive in a particular ecosystem. Second comes up is the producers, the foundation of terrestrial ecosystem that is formed by photosynthetic organisms known as the predators, the producers, sorry about that. These are primarily plants, trees, scrubs, grasses, and etc. that is use sunlight to convert carbon dioxide and water into organic compounds primarily through photosynthetic. Herbivores or primary consumers are organisms that fed on producers. They include animals like rabbits, deer, and insects. These herbivores obtain their energy and nutrients by consuming plants. Secondary consumers or the carnivores are organisms that fed on herbivores. They can be predators such as wolves, lion, birds of prey, and these carnivores derive their energy from consuming herbivores. The next top consumers are the tertiary consumers, which are predators that fed on the other carnivores. For example, a large apex predator like a top-level carnivore can be considered as a tertiary consumer. So lastly, the decomposers, including fungi, bacteria, and detrivores like earthworms, these play a crucial role in breaking down dead plant and animal matter. So they recycle nutrients back into ecosystem, making them available for plants. So this is recycling day after day, year after year. The biogenic carbon cycle refers to the movement of carbon through living organisms, ecosystems, and the environment. It is a subset of large carbon cycle which encompasses the exchange of carbon between the atmosphere, oceans, soil, and living organisms. So the biogenic carbon cycle especially focuses on the biological process that involve the uptake, release, and the transformation of carbon by living organisms.
Terrestrial biome is a land region on the Earth's surface covered by biological communities that group under the climatic patterns like rainfall and temperature. These types of forests are of the terrestrial biomes, which is called forest biomes. It is characterized by three types of trees: ecosystems tropical, temperate, and taiga, or even boreal forests. When warm and wet, tropical forests are called rainforests, while dry and cool conditions result in deciduous forests. These are characterized by thick canopy, tall or short trees. Temperate forests are found in regions that have mid-range temperatures and all 4 seasons. Grasslands are land regions that do not have trees but grass vegetation. It is of 2 types, temperate and tropical. Tropical savannas are characterized by hot temperatures with tall grass and scattered short trees. They have limited rainfall or precipitation. Temperate grasslands have shorter grass. And they are also classified as pampas, steppe, prairie, and savanna. Desert biome are dry regions that have hardly vegetation, and if there is, they are adapted to specially suit the dry climate within the least rainfall to access water for survival. And winters, these are 3 types of deserts: hot, cold, coastal, and desert. While tundra is a polar desert, is entirely covered with snow throughout the year, within the depth of the snow forming as a part of the layers called permafrost. The vegetation is seen as short to shrubs, while grass only during the summer. Tundra regions are found only in the polar regions and are cold year-round. Alpine and Arctic tundra are 2 common types of tundra regions. It is found in the northernmost regions of the Earth, closer to the poles. It is found in the multiple regions around the world and are usually located at higher altitudes of around 10,000 feet above sea level.
Changes in land ecosystem. We can divide changes to ecosystem into 2 broad categories: natural causes and human causes. Natural causes is a weather-related events that causes widespread damage to an area. Natural disasters are not caused by humans, though in some instances, human activity can make them more severe. Wildfire, forest fire, flooding, drought, earthquake, volcanic eruption, tornado, cyclone, and even diseases. Human activities. Practices that causes widespread damage to an area. These practices caused by humans. Converting forests and agricultural areas into commercial places, using deforestation, mining, and etc.
And now let us move on into ecological succession. So what is ecological succession? Ecological succession is the steady and gradual change in a species of a given area with respect to the changing environment. It is a predictable change and is an inevitable process of nature, as all the biotic components have to keep up with the changes in our environment. There are 3 types of ecological succession. The first one is primary succession. Primary succession starts in lifeless areas such as the regions devoid of soil or the areas where the soil is unable to sustain life. As illustrated in the picture, nakikita natin kung paano ang pagbabago ng isang landform mula sa pag-iisang bare rock hanggang sa tinubuan nito ng mga puno. The next one is secondary succession. It occurs when the primary ecosystem gets destroyed. For example, a climax community gets destroyed by fire. It gets recolonized after the destruction. This is known as secondary ecological succession. Kagaya ng ating nakikita sa picture, nasira yung puno dahil sa sunog, natumba at nabura. Ngunit sa pagdaan ng panahon, unti-unti itong nanumbalik sa dati niyang anyo. And the third and last type of ecological succession is the cyclic succession. This is the only change in the structure of an ecosystem on a cyclic basis. Some plants remain dormant for the rest of the year and emerge all at once. This drastically changes the structure of an ecosystem. Nakikita natin sa picture ang cycle ng pagtubo at pagkamatay ng mga cactus at shrub. Nagsisimula ito sa open space at may tumutubong mali na shrub. At ito namang mga birds and rodents ay naguhulog ng cactus seed, kaya naman may tumutubong cactus sa ilalim ng shrub. And may nagde-develop na roots ng cactus malapit sa surface, at dahil ang cactus ay mahilig at matakaw sa tubig, ay nagkakaroon ng agawan. Kaya yung shrub nauubusan ng tubig at namamatay. And without the shrub roots, yung soil ay mag-erode. Kaya kapag lumabas yung root ng cactus, mamamatay din ito at babalik sa open space and repeat.
Organization is not like an isolated island. It does not exist in a void, but it is rather in a state of constant interaction with various factors present in its environments. These factors can be internal to the organization or can be externally related. Organization environment is defined as a set of characteristics which describes the organization and distinguish it from other organizations within a given time period. It affects behavior of the employees there within. These affects the functional behavior of the employees, their trends, and their motives. It is not a homogeneous entity, but represents a complex of combination of a large number of factors, each of which affects the organization in its unique way. These have open systems that have directly affect the ways and dynamics of the work in the organization within it. It does not exist in a vacuum, but it exists in an environment which provides resources and limitations. If it is to remain prosperous, the organization is to continually adapt to its environment, which is constantly changing. Normally, any negligence to a deeply adapted environment is a major cause of the organizational failure.
Effects of the organization of the environment. The organizational environment is a dynamic system influenced by internal and external factors. Internally, factors like organizational structure, leadership, and employee behavior shape an organization function. Externally, the environment is affected by political, economic, social, technological, regulatory, and demographic factors, as well as specific elements such as suppliers, customers, competitors, and strategic partners. Organization exists in a constant state of interaction with their environment, adapting to changes to remain prosperous. The complexity of the environment necessitates continuous adaptation and strategic planning. Understanding both general environmental factors and organization-specific factors is essential for proactive strategic planning.
So now, mag-proceed na tayo sa climatograph. So what is climatograph? Climatograph, or also known as climographs or climate graphs, refers to a specialized time-based graph that logically presents information relevant to the average temperature and precipitation in a certain location, such as town or nation. It is a visual representation of a location's physical characteristics, including temperature, precipitation, and climate. Most climographs are organized on a month-to-month time scale. So bakit nga ba napaka-importante ng climatograph? Climatographs are important because they help to describe the average temperature, precipitation, and climate of an area to help make educated inferences about the region's social factors such as lifestyle characteristics. They can reduce raw data or long list of numbers into a compact visual that makes the data easier to understand. So ang climatograph ay nagbibigay sa atin ng impormasyon about sa ating weather and climate patterns. Mas madali nga lang ito dahil binibigyan natin ng visual representation which is easier to understand kaysa sa nagbabasa tayo ng long list of numbers from raw datas. So narito ay halimbawa ng isang climatograph about sa weather ng Pilipinas. Nakikita natin sa left side ang mga temperature while sa baba ay months. And nakikita natin mga blue bars na nagsisimbolo ng rain patterns. And the dark green line shows the average temperature during night and the red line na may mga symbols ng mga araw at ulan ay ang average temperature natin tuwing daytime. So, as seen in the climatograph, the climate of the Philippines is divided into two major seasons, the rainy season which occurs from June to November and the dry season which occurs from December to May, using temperature and precipitation as the basis.
How to use a climatograph? By examining the climatograph, readers will understand that the average monthly temperature is displayed as a red line with plotted points, and the average precipitation for each month of the year is represented by green bars. The temperature is displayed on the right-hand vertical axis of the climatograph in Celsius, while the average precipitation is incrementally labeled on the left vertical axis in millimeters. The first step of reading climatograph should always be to identify a specific month. Then determination of the average monthly temperature or precipitation can be made.
So dito naman po tayo sa ecosystems in transition. Impacts of climate change, deforestation, urbanization, invasive species, overfishing, and coral reefs. First is climate change, pabago-bago ng klima, unpredictable weather, altered precipitation patterns na maaaring makasira sa balanse ng kalikasan. Halimbawa, ang sobrang pag-ulan ay pwedeng mag-cause ng pagbaha o ang kakulangan sa ulan o sobrang tag-init. Maaaring magkaroon ng kakulangan sa tubig para sa mga halaman, pananim at mga hayop. Pangalawa, urbanization, the growth of cities transform natural environments into urban landscapes. Kadalasang nagiging sanhi ng pagkawala ng tirahan, pagkakabahagi ng ekosistema at mas maraming pollution. Pangatlo ay yung invasive species. Invasive species disrupt ecosystem by outcompeting natives, altering nutrient cycles, and reshaping the ecosystem structure. Next ay yung overfishing. Sobra-sobrang pangingisda o pangangaso na nagdudulot ng pagbagsak ng industriya ng pangingisda at pagkaabala ng ekosistema sa karagatan. Coral reefs. Alterations in water temperature and quality na kadalasang konektado sa pagbabago ng klima at maaaring magdulot ng pagbabago sa mga maunlad na mga coral reef patungo sa mga napinsalang kalikasan na may kaunting biodiversidad, isang proseso na kilala bilang coral bleaching. Ecosystems in transition highlight the delicate balance of our natural world. Understanding the impacts of climate change, deforestation, urbanization, invasive species, overfishing, and coral bleaching is crucial for protecting our planet's biodiversity and ensuring a sustainable future.